Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. Point A. Eliminations. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Point A captured. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Point C captured. Point B is under attack. Point B lost. Point A is under attack. Perfect aim. Domination. Point A lost. Nice. The enemy captured Point A. Assist. Perfect Point A is under attack. Point C captured. Perfect the enemy captured Point A. Assist. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. Elimination. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Eliminations. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. Merciless. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Bang. Incredible. Triple elimination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Triple elimination. Elimination streak. Blade Master. Perfect aim. Domination. Bang. Perfect aim. Incredible. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Bang. Nice. Domination. Perfect aim. Nice. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Domination. Bang. Merciless. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Point A captured. Perfect aim. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. Bang. The enemy captured Point A. Nice. Perfect aim. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. Perfect aim. Point A. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. Bang. Bang. Point A is under attack. Point A captured. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. Perfect A domination. Double elimination. Domination. The enemy captured Point A. Nice. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. The enemy captured Point A. Perfect aim. Under attack. Point A lost. Nice. The enemy captured Point A. Nice. Incredible. Point A. Perfect captured. Aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Elimination's perfect aim. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. First strike. Captured Point A. Bang. Merciless. Point A is under attack. Perfect aim. Point A lost. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Point A captured. Perfect aim. Domination. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Incredible. Perfect aim. Point A is under attack. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. Point B captured. Perfect aim. Point B is under attack. Point B is under attack. Point B lost. The enemy captured point B. Perfect aim. Domination. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Triple elimination. Point B captured. Nice. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Bang. The enemy captured point C. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Incredible. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Assist. Point C is under attack. Perfect aim. Lost. Perfect aim. Point D captured. Savage. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Perfect aim. Domination. Nice. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Point E is under attack. Point E is under attack. Five, four, three, two, one. Point A lost. Elimination. Point A is under attack. Lost. Perfect aim. Point A captured. Point A is under attack. Point perfect aim. Elimination streak. Merciless. Under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. The enemy captured Point A. Bang. Point A is under attack. Point A captured. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. Domination. Point A captured. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Destroyed. Point A. Point A captured. Nice. Perfect A domination. Point A is under attack. Point A captured. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. The enemy captured Point A. Double elimination. Merciless. Merciless. The enemy Merciless. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. Five, four, three, two, one. Point A captured. Perfect A. First strike. Double elimination. Perfect A is under attack. Point A captured. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. Elimination streak. Perfect aim. Double elimination. Triple elimination. Perfect aim. 4 at once. Perfect aim. Domination. Incredible. Perfect aim. Domination. Point A is under attack. Perfect aim. Point A lost. Double elimination. Merciless. Domination. Point A captured. Nice. Point A is under attack. Point A is under attack. Aim. Insane. Double elimination. Perfect aim. Point A is under attack. Point A lost. Perfect A domination. Double elimination. Nice. Point A captured. is under attack. Point A captured. Point A is under attack. Nice. Double elimination. Merciless. Merciless. Domination. Triple elimination. Bang.